everybody. What a beautiful day in my home borough of Brooklyn. Thank you, thank you. We have an amazing assemblage of community and elected leaders here. I just need to acknowledge not only the Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, who is, the heaviest of heavy hitters in Washington, and how lucky are we in New York that we have that kind of representation. We also have the council member, Crystal Hudson, with us. We have a full assortment of project leadership behind us. Jamie will do some acknowledgments. We have leaders who I just had a chance to speak to from around the community, some great people as well. And always with us are advocates for disability when we're talking about these issues. And I just need to shout out to that team, which always joins us for these kinds of exciting events. So thank you for being with us. I'm Jano Lieber, the MTA Chair and CEO. Today, we are breaking ground on a project to make this station, the Classen Avenue G-Train station, fully accessible under the Americans with Disabilities Act. This wouldn't be happening without our federal partners. The majority of this $57 million project is being covered by federal funds, including $1 million that the leader, the Democratic leader, Democratic leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer secured in the appropriations bill for fiscal year 2024. It's part of a much larger bundle of 13 stations in all of the 5 boroughs, the majority of which is being paid for with $500 million in federal funds, including $360 million from the bipartisan infrastructure law. And hats off to you, Leader Jeffries, to everybody in the Congress, especially the New York delegation, who enabled President Biden to shepherd that through the Congress. It is paying off for us tremendously. Now, here at Classen Avenue, we're talking about adding 3 new elevators and 3,500 square feet of space through customer circulation improvements, a wider mezzanine, 7 refurbished staircase, 4 new turnstiles. These projects are not just elevators. You got to add staircases. You have to move the utilities around. Part of the complexity in our very old system, but this team is getting it done. Shout out to the construction and development team. It adds up to major benefits for the community, and we're thrilled to be doing the work. As of today, MTA now has 38 ADA stations under construction right now, and a third of those are in Brooklyn alone. Brooklyn is getting it, and we're going to knock them out with the same principle that we've always brought to all of our work at construction development: faster, better, and cheaper. We have delivered dozens of stations since 2020. We are 5 times as fast in this ADA march towards accessibility as prior MTAs, and I'm very proud of that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to MTA Construction Development President Jamie Torres Springer, who will be followed by Democratic Leader Jeffries.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, everyone. This groundbreaking is a huge milestone for the MTA. We're so excited to be here today at Classen Station. As Jano said, this is part of the largest bundle of accessibility upgrades that the MTA has ever undertaken. And that really shows how we're getting this work done better, faster, and cheaper. With Classen Avenue underway, we have 38 stations in construction to be made fully ADA accessible across our system, and we keep going. We're so thankful for the funding that our federal partners have contributed to cover critical accessibility upgrades at this station and across the whole system. As Jano said, there's a variety of federal funding that's available, but without the bipartisan infrastructure law that the President and Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer have been the champions of, we would not be here today. That is the bulk of the funding that we have available to get these ADA upgrades done. We know the G-Train needs a lot of love. I'm a very regular G-Train rider myself. These accessibility upgrades will complement the investments that we're making in new signal infrastructure across the entire G line, a lot of which we're getting done this summer. Classen Avenue has a unique layout, and we're making a lot of upgrades here to account for that. To create the fully accessible path of travel, we're reactivating 3,500 square feet, a very large area of mezzanine space right underneath us. We're constructing 3 new elevators, 2 new mezzanine elevators to the platform, and the street to mezzanine elevator you can see the beautiful rendering of fitting into the urban context of this area. We're adding new raised boarding areas, new platform strips, refurbishing 7 staircases in this station to bring them up to ADA code. And as Jano said, while these accessibility upgrades are underway, we don't hesitate to make improvements to a station that needs it. We're replacing 5 customer information screens, adding 2 new ones, addressing fire safety and upgrading the public address system, fire safety with a fire alarm, sprinkler system, and in the last phase of the G train shutdown, which is occurring later this summer, we'll be giving Classen Avenue a full renovation so that when the station reopens, customers will have a clean and new and improved station atmosphere. A couple of acknowledgements for the great team that's getting this work done on what we call Package 5, this package of 13 ADA stations. Our project CEO, Syed Rezvi, Vikram, Peter Brighton, who are here from our stations group. And then we have a great contracting team from Judlow with Modern Elevator, AECOM and TY Lin are working as our project managers, and we have WSP as the designer. So it takes a very big team, a lot of professionals to get work done at this scale, this $57 million improvement, and everybody's working together. We're very excited about the groundbreaking today. And with that, I want to pass it on to Leader Jeffries for his remarks. Welcome, Leader Jeffries.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your incredible leadership, to the entire MTA team, to the advocates and community members who are standing behind me, who have long fought to make sure that the necessary upgrades for accessibility and ease of transport are brought to our community. I'm thankful for the MTA's leadership in this regard. The G train is an incredibly important subway line for the Clinton Hill community, for the Fort Greene community, for the Bedford-Stuyvesant community that we are privileged to represent. Growing up here in Central Brooklyn in the 80s and early 90s, coming of age during a very difficult time, the G train was one of those subway lines that I tried to avoid. In fact, I used to think, I'm being honest, y'all, I'm from Brooklyn. I used to think that the G in G train stood for gangster because it was a rough line. But over the last several years, certainly last several decades, under the leadership of the MTA, a lot of tender love and affection has gone into making the G train the subway line that it should be. And today, under the leadership of our chairman and the MTA, this represents another incredibly positive step forward, particularly to make sure that those with physical challenges and those who have slowed down a little bit as they've become older still have the ability to move back and forth to visit family and loved ones, and to go to work and to go to church and to go to school, and the things that are necessary to live their best life. This is a partnership, as the chairman mentioned, and we're proud that millions of dollars for this project and for other projects have come from the federal government, often in connection with the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that, under the leadership of President Joe Biden, we were able to get over the finish line in the last Congress. Our community will continue to see benefits from the work that was done under the leadership of President Biden and the partnership with Democrats in the Senate, under Leader Chuck Schumer, and Democrats in the House of Representatives. And we are going to continue to put people over politics and to deliver for the communities that we are privileged to represent. And this upgrade at this G train station is another example of our commitment to that work. It's now my honor to yield to a great friend, a great colleague, a great member of the City Council, Councilwoman Crystal Hudson.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm just so proud to stand here with Leader Jeffries, with the heads of the MTA, and to make sure that every member of our communities have access, full access to the MTA and specifically to this Classen Avenue G-stop. We have community members who are wheelchair bound. We have community members, as the leader said, who might have mobility issues. I'm chair of the Aging Committee in the New York City Council, and so I want to make sure that beyond those who might have disabilities, we also are thinking about our older adults and making everything just a little bit easier for them to have access to. I also want to thank Jano Lieber for his steadfast and firm leadership in the face of some adversity. I think it takes a lot to make sure that we continue a lot of the projects and find new, creative, innovative ways to keep other projects going when you're not really sure exactly where the funding will be coming from. And also, again, to thank Leader Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, our senator, for the $1 million allocation. We can't get it done alone at the local level. We need to make sure that our state government and our federal government are strong partners in providing these upgrades for our communities. So again, today's a proud day. I look forward to the ribbon cutting and for welcoming so many community members once this work is done. Thank you.
So, well, a couple of acknowledgments I always. A couple of acknowledgments I always want to make. Brad Nystrom is Chief Operating Officer of Judlow. I think you mentioned it. And Larry Corgood. I have a special place in my heart for Larry because he was the leader in many ways of the L Train project when we got that one done on time, $100 million under budget. No one thought we could do it. So thank you to you. We'll do Q&A now, and then we're going to do the symbolic.
All right, we're going to do on-topic questions. We start with the Dean, Marcia Kramer from CBS 2. Marcia.
Just waiting for Jano to come back.
Yeah.
So Jano, I think it's sort of interesting that despite the pause in congestion pricing and the questions that you raised about your ability to do accessibility projects, you're here touting not only this project, but 13 other projects. So was that a scare tactic because you were trying to convince the governor to give you more money, or is this just, phew, we've got the money from the federal government?
Actually, it's neither. We live in the reality of how funding comes in. The reason that we had to reprioritize the capital program was that we could not use the state money, which is there's limited amounts of it, to match projects, right? We had to focus on state of good repair. This project is overwhelmingly federal money, which couldn't be used otherwise. It is, in addition to the earmark that the leader obtained, it's also bipartisan infrastructure law, ADA money, and it is federal formula money. So the reason we're able to go through with this is it all is coming from the feds, and it was all being used. It's all directed at ADA. That's the difference with many of the other ADA projects, Marcia.
All right, we move on to Andrew Siff of WN.
Yeah, just to
DC.
clarify, Jamie's reminding me of the number, Marcia. It's $500 million of federal money. That's really what's paying for this project and the whole package.
Andrew. Sorry, can't hear you, Marcia. We got to go to Andrew. A lot of people here. Go ahead, Andrew.
I'm following up on
Go ahead.
Marcia's
Go ahead.
question anyway.
Okay.
What I wanted to understand better is, because you started out by saying, you know, we're record speed, we're doing all this accessibility, and I know it's personally important to you, Mr. Chairman, because
Yes.
you talked about it.
Yep.
You talked about your mom wanted this to happen, but realistically, you can't have Leader Jeffries bail you out at every ADA project. There are the 23 stations that you told New Yorkers were going to have to be deprioritized. So what's the real picture going forward on accessibility?
Andrew, our priority is transparency. So we're very upfront with New Yorkers about the impact of the pause in congestion pricing, that we had to reprioritize for only the state of good repair projects. That did affect some ADA projects, and we highlighted what those were. We were very transparent. When we have projects where the money can only go to ADA, we're on it, like on a cheap suit or white on rice, whatever phrase you want to use. We are on it because we want to build these ADA projects as fast as we can. This $500 million of federal money for these 13 projects means that we can go forward without under investing in state of good repair, and we're doing it as fast as we can.
Thank you. All right, Evan Simko Bednarski is down here from the New York Daily News. Evan.
Keep hearing about it.
Good morning, guys. So, two quick questions. One, just sort of a
Anyone impressed that this time, unlike the Omni announcement, I brought my own handkerchief?
So a question possibly for Leader Jeffries, which is just how replicable is the idea that there's federal money for this? You know, if we have these projects that are outstanding, is there more federal money that could come down the pike in the interim? And then just a quick clarification from Jamie. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit more about what the larger overhaul of this station will look like or will involve later in the summer.
Well, we have a close working relationship with Chairman Lieber, and we've been working hard to make sure that we can secure the resources necessary at the federal government level to meet the needs of the community. As the chairman indicated, the federal money connected to this project comes from 3 different sources. ADA available resources are connected to this upgrade project here at Claxton Avenue. Of course, millions of dollars from the bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act have been made available for the upgrades at this station, and I was able to secure an additional $1 million in discretionary money from the most recent appropriations bill to meet the needs of the community connected to this project. That's our continuing commitment under the leadership of both the chairman, the MTA, and Governor Hochul. We're working with Governor Hochul and the legislative leaders to make sure that at the state level, in partnership with the federal government level, we can find the resources to provide a safe and accessible and efficient and an effective mass transportation system for the people of New York City.
Thanks, Al. Let me just talk about the station from the customer-facing point of view. So there's really 2 phases here, if you think about it. This summer, we've got an outage on the G train. This portion of the G train will be serviced instead by shuttle transportation starting next week until the beginning of September. And that's because all along the line, all the way up to Court Square, we're installing brand new signal systems. That's called CBTC. It's the most modern signal system that's available. We've leapfrogged a lot of technology to improve the system, and we're replacing signals on the crosstown line, the G line, from the FDR administration. So that's what's happening. This station will be out of service during that period, replaced by a lot of shuttle transportation. We'll always regret the inconvenience for our passengers, but it's very important to make this train more reliable, have more capacity. But while it's out, we're going to be doing work on the station so that it comes back cleaner, in better shape, repairing some tile, making some improvements to the station so it's more comfortable. Phase 1. Phase 2, we're here celebrating the beginning of the ADA work, and that's a much bigger station renovation. As I said, refurbishing 7 new staircases. The whole area west from Claxton to the west here will be opened up and underground, and 2 new stairways that come down to the platform, then 3 new elevators getting put in, repairs to the edge of the platform warning strip, really modernizing this station in a more significant way, and the completion date for that is the end of 2026.
All right, let's go right there to Dave Colon from Streets Blog, Brooklyn's own Dave Colon, Brooklyn.
Hi, I think this is for the congressman, or definitely it's for the congressman. Congressman Jeffries, you were reportedly a big voice, a big influence in the pause of congestion pricing. You've said that you support the pause. So do you feel any responsibility for the 23 ADA projects that are now on pause and may not happen?
Yeah, thank you for that question. What I've indicated is that throughout the congestion pricing debate, I didn't take a position one way or the other. I let my colleagues at the state level handle it up until this point. When the governor made the decision to pause, I indicated that I supported a temporary pause of limited duration, while at the same period of time redoubling our efforts at the federal level to make sure that we're securing the resources to undergo the type of transformational projects such as the one that's taking place here at Claxton Avenue today.
All right, thanks everybody. That's all the time we have for questions. For those of you watching in the 60 newsrooms that are monitoring this, We've got a few renderings we're going to send you, and then we've got the groundbreaking right here live in Brooklyn. So for the folks here, let's grab shovels. Folks watching the feed, we're going to give you renderings and then the groundbreaking. Thank you. Two, one.
Throw it. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Throw it. Don't throw it at Cologne. 3, 2, 1. Throw it.
Just 28 more feet to go.
3, 2, 1.
No, that's not what I do. That's not my lane.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. All right, that